In this tutorial, we're going to create a letterhead. A letterhead is a heading on stationery stating a person or an organization's name, address, and contact information along with any slogans or logos, and is meant to designate official correspondence. We're going to be using a header to create the letterhead. A header is a predefined area at the top of the document, as a footer is the same predefined area at the bottom of a document. The contents of a header and a footer will appear on every page of the document. Our letterhead is just intended for a one sheet, a one page. So here's the predefined area. With our cursor in the predefined area, as we can click below it for the body or back into the header, we're going to use word art for our title. Now we're making all this up, and you can make up anything you'd like. So I'm going to insert a drawing. This is how we're going to create our word art. Inside the drawing space, they have an action called word art. Now, my business is called Olson Quarter Horses. I press my enter. It says use enter to save. And there it is. Now, I've got to dress it up a little. So I'm going to take a fill color of maybe a chocolate brown. My line color, I'll make it more like a gray. I'll make it a little wider. I think I'll bold the text. As long as it's selected, we are talking to this item. I'm going to change my font maybe to Comic Sans. Yes, I think I like that. When I have it the way I like, I press save and close, and it is inserted into my header. Now, we can still resize it here as much as we need to or would like to. It is an inline object, just like a piece of text. So I can change it to word wrap, I can do a break text, or since it's inline, I could even center it. I'll leave mine to the left for the time being. Now, I want to go and add my information. And so I start out with my address, 22562 479 Avenue. I also know that I want contact information to the right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tab, and it's easy enough just to go up to the ruler and click. It'll say add a left tab, which means everything will be left aligned, center or right, and I'll take a left. Now this little tab mark is right here. If I'm behind my avenue, my cursor, and I press the tab key now, it pops right over to my tab, and I can put in, my web address, www.olsonqh.com. Anything that's formatted with the www, the dots, and with the domain name, Google Docs assumes is a link and automatically creates a web link for it. If you don't like it to have the underline in the different color, just click on it and tell it to remove. And maybe we want to remove it for our letterhead. I press return for a new line, type in the remainder of my address, press my tab key, and I'll now put in my email at olsonqh.com. I also need to have my telephone number, so I'm going to press the enter key, and I don't want it below my address, so I'm going to tab over and put my telephone number. and I can also tell them that this is my cell number. If I'd like it to be formatted a little differently, I might even take that and make it a little smaller. Notice that you are within your header. The next thing I'd like to do is I would like to add a picture. So I can't decide if I want my picture to be here, my graphic, or over here to the right. I think I'll take it to the right. If it's to the right, this might be just a little too far, too close. So I'm going to select all of these lines and take my tab and move it over. Again, I can make my title a little smaller, and now I want to add a picture. I click within the header and I'm going to insert an image. I'm going to search for my image and call it horse clip art. If it's a clip art, it's a drawing. And I might slide down, see if there's something I like. Oh, I don't suppose bucking would be great, but I like that picture, so I'm going to take it anyway. And I select it. And here it comes, way too big. All right, so I click on it, get the handles, and shrink it down. Once it's here, I want to move it a little, so I can do a wrap text and kind of move it where I think I can get it in. Now I might add, if you're going to be doing this, make sure that your images match your organization. And I really don't think that a bucking horse really represents that very well, but it's kind of cute anyway. And now I will give it my document a title, and I will say Letterhead, and you have instructions on what to call yours, Master, and I save it by pressing my Enter key, and notice that it is the Letterhead Master. And it also goes back into my drive as my Letterhead Master right here. If I want to use it again, and if I want to use it as a letterhead, I don't want it to rename. I always want to start with a blank document. So the next time I want to use it, if I close this, I'll go to my Drive, open my Letterhead Master, and the first thing I want to do is rename it. It's easy enough to rename by going to File, Rename. It will keep it, and I'm just going to say that this is a letter for the sale. Sale letter. Now if you go back to your drive, you now have your letterhead. Oops, not right. See how you lost your master? So what we want to do, we're going to put it back. We'll rename the original Letterhead Master. And what we want to do is create a copy. Make a copy. Now you're not only going to have the original, but you'll have another one. And this is where we're going to call it the sale letter. Tells you what folder it's going in, tells you where it goes. And now, we get an error. Try again. File, make a copy, sale letter. And there we have it. Now we can put our address and continue writing your formal letter. It's making the copy. I'll click below. I'll start putting in the date. And I can write my letter. Now if you go back to the Google Drive, you will always have your master to start with. When you go to your master, remember to make a copy so that you maintain the master. And there's your letterhead.